Hey, welcome everyone to the Jerry Rig Podcast. My name is Jerry Sherstead, and we got a great show for you today. So glad that you could pop in and hang out with us. I know everybody's busy today working or, out there hunting for a job, trying to get things going. Today, we're going to unlock secrets around this concept called professional presence. And I hate to admit it, but I didn't even know it was a thing. To be honest, hadn't even heard of it until I connected with Lorraine K. Lee. She's our speaker today, our guest host, and she's a top keynote speaker on leadership, professional development topics, from public speaking tips to building personal brands. So get ready for some insights on your professional presence. Very, very important. Now that I've kind of dove into this, it's really amazing what you can do when you're kind of firing on all 8 cylinders with this whole concept of professional presence. So we got Lorraine coming up, so don't go away.
Yeah.
This is the Jerry Rigged Podcast, your no-nonsense knowledge base for business technology, marketing, and analytics. And now your host, Jerry Sherstead.
So back again. It is about 105 degrees right now here in Chandler, Arizona. So chat in and let me know where you're at and talk to me about what's the weather doing where you're at. Is it raining? Got any snow? Well, you wouldn't have any snow. We're almost heading towards summer. So is it getting hotter where you're at? Just, let's talk. And also, if you got questions, we want to bring that in as well. So I'm going to click over here to the comments, and I want to make sure I'm not missing anyone who wants to ask questions. So anyway, Lorraine K. Lee. She's a power person on LinkedIn, and she's really super on point. She's a keynote speaker, a trainer, a content creator, a career coach. And so we're going to dive into her journey a little bit. And so I'd like to bring her up front here and introduce her. Hey, Lorraine.
Hi.
You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm great. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So where are you located?
I'm in San Francisco. I haven't been outside yet, but I think it's probably in the 70s today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice. Okay. I like 70. 105 is a little extreme.
Gosh.
So, Lorraine, what we're going to do is we're going to ask you a few questions. I have a 3 or 4 page PowerPoint that I'll bring up in a second.
Okay.
Kind of give everyone a little bit of a background of what professional presence actually is. So from your perspective, you're in the biz, you're in that world. Talk to us a little bit about what it is.
Yeah, so professional presence is both how and where you're seen. And I think when a lot of people think about presence, they think about it in the more traditional sense, things like executive presence and how you're coming across in person. And when I started thinking about, okay, what do I want my sort of area of expertise to be based on all the things that I can speak on, presence came up because, yes, that is very important, the traditional part of it. But also people would say things to me like, wow, I love your LinkedIn presence, or you have such great video presence. And I thought, oh, okay, presence actually also means where people are seeing you and the reputation and impression that you're leaving behind in those spaces where you're not face to face with someone or even like live with them, right? Seeing them on video. So that's to me what professional presence is. And I think it's so critical. You need really both pieces of the puzzle to excel in your career in this day and age.
That makes sense. It used to be everything was face-to-face or on the telephone, right? Mm-hmm. And so now everyone has to be kind of a Walter Cronkite. Okay, I'm getting old now. Anderson Cooper or Tom Brokaw. You have to have that on-camera thing kind of going.
Yeah, it's important.
That's cool. So let me do this. I'm going to bring in a quick PowerPoint.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about that. For those of you who are haven't been around my show, my name is Jerry Sherstead. I'm a business and marketing consultant with 28 years in entrepreneurship, technology, marketing, and business consulting. And I'm kind of ADD, so I like kind of dabbling in all those little areas, even though my marketing brain tells me I should really focus on one. But I like to have fun.
More fun that way, yeah.
Exactly. So I work at Sumo Lab, and I'm, like I said, a consultant. And I just released a book that I'm proud of. It's called How to Podcast. It's available on Amazon if you want to check it out. How to Podcast, advice from a veteran radio producer. I was in radio for about 12 years as a producer. I was also had my own on-air show where we played R&B music. That was kind of my forte. So what is professional presence? Now, this is ChatGPT talking. This is kind of the official definition. So we talk about professional presence, and refers to the way you present yourself. Like Lorraine was saying, professional setting encompassing your appearance, your communication skills, your behavior, and overall demeanor. And it's about projecting confidence, competence, and credibility with colleagues, clients, stakeholders. And so, Lorraine, I'd like to ask you, just from my own personal standpoint, having been in photography and video production quite a bit, I notice it. And I have not found one human yet, I don't think, that just absolutely abhors being in front of people, talking on camera, or having their picture taken. We're all just kind of self-conscious. Is that what you see?
Yeah, I mean, I think most people, when it comes to video or just like putting yourself out there in any kind of way, I think people can get uncomfortable. There's certainly people who are comfortable with it, but yeah, it's a skill to learn, right? So some people are going to lean into it and be really comfortable and excited, and other people are going to be a little bit more hesitant or sort of do the bare minimum to get by.
Yeah, I would say that I've met some people that are just natural. They get in front of a camera, it doesn't bother them.
Yeah.
They have that confidence. But like for me, I'm kind of a ham anyway, so I don't mind getting in front of people, but there's still this certain level of nervousness, and uncomfortableness. But it really is a practice skill. You got to practice it, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, to your point, it's funny because I think a lot of people got so used to virtual when they went back in person, it was like very unfamiliar. And we had to get used to that again. But no, certainly it is a skill. I think it's something that everyone can learn. And I mean, as you're putting up on the screen, there's a lot of different components and all learnable.
Yes. So when I was in radio, I enjoyed radio because you don't have to see anybody. You're just in this little studio. You're talking on a microphone, and you can get really confident and just kind of let it all hang out because nobody's looking at you. But video is a totally different ball game. It really is. So hats off to people that have really good on camera presence. So the components of professional presence, we'll hit these real quick and then we'll get into some other stuff. Appearance, dressing appropriately for your role, grooming attire, not looking like a slob, right? What do you see out there?
Yeah, I think I was on this other LinkedIn Live the other day talking about appearance and how people dress. And I think there's sort of a difference in generations now where the younger generations are feeling a little bit more comfortable getting a little more casual with their dress. But I say when it comes to appearance, it's always better to err on the side of safety and to overdress. No one's ever going to think poorly of you for being overdressed. I think it does happen though when you're underdressed. So I think showing up how you want to be seen, right? Perception is reality. So coming in with a blazer or a blouse or a suit, right? People are going to think that you look credible, that you look confident, that you look professional. So I think appearance is important. And then, on video calls, I think just at the top, obviously you want that to look good, but I actually think of appearance even beyond what you're wearing. I talk about appearance a lot in this thing I created called the rave model, when talking about the components of influence and how you appear on camera and your framing and your eye contact and things like that, your body language, etc. That's also really critical too, to again, appearing confident, credible, all those things that professional, all those things that you want to come across as in a professional setting. Absolutely. Communication is
I mean, everything these days, whether you're communicating with written word, video, photography, imagery, and your, speaking ability. I see people actually in, higher positions that have a tendency to kind of run their words together, and they talk, they get nervous. We all do.
Sure.
You talk too fast.
Yeah.
I have a really bad habit of talking too fast.
Same.
And so I've learned to slow down.
Yeah.
And it's better to communicate 2 or 3 things very effectively than to try to squeeze in 20 things, right?
Yes. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I'm someone who also, I think I have a LinkedIn post coming out about this maybe next month or later this month. But it's about how I speak quickly, I get excited, I talk even faster. But yes, being very intentional with the way we communicate, whether that is spoken or written, I think is an important skill. It's going to be one of the most, if not the most important skill in the workplace. And so knowing how to write, knowing how to be concise, knowing how to make sure your message is clear. And when you speak as well, to your point, we all get nervous. I still get nervous sometimes, right? Or most of the time, honestly. But it's about enough practice where you're pushing through that and getting comfortable, and then just being self-aware with, again, like the speed of what you're talking, being able to incorporate pauses, changing tone, all of that. I'm sure you as a former radio host know all about that, and how to use your voice impactfully.
Yeah, you don't probably need to get so far into like, radio jocks who work on their voice and how to, work, knowing, very few people know how to actually use a microphone. Mm-hmm. They're talking like 3 feet away and it sounds, you can get all the room noise. When I was in radio, my lips actually used to touch the microphone as I was talking, and it gives them more, over the radio, gives a more personal, warm sound, right?
Yeah.
And so behavior, demonstrating professionalism through punctuality, being on time. I don't care what year it is. I don't care if it's 1,000 years ago or 1,000 years in the future.
Yes.
I think being punctual is always going to be a thing.
Yeah, you're speaking my language. Yeah, I'm always someone who likes to be on time when I do webinars and things like that. I always appreciate when people show up early too. But yeah, I think being on time, one of the things I say is one of the most underrated skills is being reliable and the act of follow through. And simply, I say simply, but it's apparently not so simple because a lot of people don't do it. But simply doing what you say you'll do when you say you'll do it. And I feel like that is such an easy thing that people can do, and it will just take you so far in terms of your reputation and people wanting to continue working with you.
Absolutely. That is probably one of my top 3 irks in 2024. Now, I'm a few years older than you are. But there were people in the 70s and 80s who were not on time, but it was kind of sort of really, really bad form. And back in the day, pre-internet and pre-cell phones, you just show up on their front door going, I said I'd be here at 10 o'clock and it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you haven't even gotten in the shower. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
So, punctuality is huge for me too. I grew up with a mother who was 15 minutes early to everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, everything. Nice. If we would invite her over for dinner, her and my stepdad were sitting out front on the street a half an hour before dinner. And I'd always walk out. Hey, Mom, you guys can come in. No big deal. I know you're going to be early anyway. Yeah. Anyway, so punctuality, reliability. How about recruiters these days that, they have a reputation, some of them for ghosting people, and candidates honestly have a reputation for ghosting recruiters. So how about that just simple courtesy of, hey, this is not for me, but thanks for your hard work. Appreciate your effort.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, completely. I don't think ghosting in a professional setting or even, with dating, you should always, I think, respond to people and just don't leave them hanging, right? And I think even when people reach out to me, like salespeople, or it's like so clear they're pitching something, like I try to respond because I know, like, especially now as a solopreneur, I know it's work to get out there, and like it's just like, ugh, when, you don't know if like people saw it or not. So I always try to respond when I can, even if it's a no, thank you, I'm not interested, but thank you type response. I think that's important.
Nice. I used to own a mobile DJ business, and every once in a while I would hear somebody say, "Oh man, I wish you would have DJ'd our wedding. Our DJ ghosted us."
Oh gosh,
And-
a wedding, that's horrible.
Oh my gosh.
It just makes, it's a nightmare.
It makes the hair in the back of my neck stand up. Like I just can't even wrap my brain around somebody who would do that.
It's crazy. I mean, that's just, that's your reputation, like your presence, right? Like, gosh, that's horrible.
So 4, demeanor, maintaining a calm, composed, positive attitude, even in challenging situations. Talk to us a little bit about that, because sometimes that's really, really hard to do.
Yeah, that's certainly an important piece of presence, and something that actually people have commented on before, like especially when I was at LinkedIn. People appreciate someone who can be calm during stressful times, and I think you take a beat, you take some breaths, you meditate, whatever you need to do, and to look at the situation and not just get caught up in it. But I think, coming in calm, having a positive attitude during difficult times, I feel like people really appreciate that. Being someone who is optimistic, who's smiling, who's has a go-getter attitude. That's something that can really take you far as well. And again, is a part of your reputation, of your presence.
Yes. For some of us that are a little bit ADD, sometimes we have a tendency to have a knee-jerk reaction, and we're reacting, and then we don't even realize we're reacting until we've already reacted.
Right, yeah.
So you got to really, really, and it's something that some of us, including myself, have to really work on. We have to think.
That's hard,
before. So last few here. So what's the importance of professional presence, first impressions, credibility and trust, career advancement, networking? I missed a green there. Oh, see, my OCD is kicking in.
The special one.
Yeah, exactly. Leadership. If you're trying to be in leadership positions, being that steady hand, that professional who listens to everyone, who doesn't react, that's really important stuff. And that really, I've been seeing a lot of TikTok videos and some YouTube videos with these psychiatrists. And one of the things that they talk about is not talking too much. Those that don't talk too much and just say the right thing at the right time.
Yeah.
There's this perception of credibility and, being solid.
Yeah.
I don't even know what words to use. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think that's very true. And I'm an introvert, and I often post on LinkedIn about my introversion. And I feel like that's one thing that I think introverts that's one of their strengths, is that you are not speaking all the time just to talk, but you are speaking at very intentional moments. And I think that really helps you stand out. People will listen because they know you're not just talking for the sake of talking, but when you only have something important to say. So from an introvert's perspective, I think that's a very key superpower. That
is a superpower. I actually envy people who have that ability, because I have this DNA that says you got to fill in every gap. You got to fill in every space. We can't have dead space.
Yeah.
You got to get to the next thing that we know. What's next? What are we going to talk about next?
Power of the pod.
Exactly. So tell us how your career got to where you're at now.
Yeah, so I spent the first 10 years of my career in tech, leading editorial teams, and I was the founding editor at multiple tech companies. I was at LinkedIn as a founding editor for 6 years. Most recently, I was at a company called Prezi as a founding editor. And in November 2022, I got impacted by the mass tech layoffs. And I had to decide, did I want to apply for another job, or did I want to build out a side hustle that I had created at Prezi, doing more speaking opportunities. and I decided to lean into the side hustle. And so I started my business last year in January. So time is flying by. We're a year and a half into the business now, where I continue doing speaking and training. I consult and do some one-on-one coaching. And then I also teach at LinkedIn Learning and at Stanford Continuing Studies. And I've been loving it so far. It's been so much learning, so many opportunities to meet really interesting folks, such as yourself, Jerry, and be on interesting podcasts and things like that. And it's been wonderful. I'm really enjoying it so far.
That's super cool stuff. So are you officially employed or contracted type thing with LinkedIn?
So I think it might be considered a contract for LinkedIn Learning. Or they hire you for every course that you need to, or there's a contract for every course that you make. Yeah. Okay.
So you take a specific subject and you create a course around that.
Yeah, and most of them are, so I have 15, or it's about to be 15 courses. There's a new one coming out in a few days. And one of them, you need a LinkedIn Learning or a premium account, but all the other ones are nano courses. So 10 minutes or less. They're recorded on my cell phone. So it's a little bit more sort of like TikTok style, faster moving. And all of those are free. So I encourage anyone who's wanting to learn more from me to check out those courses.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm assuming these courses are on professional presence?
A lot of categories that fall under the umbrella. So a lot of different career leadership management topics. But I feel like, again, that's sort of why I chose professional presence, because it is broad enough, how and where others see you. And of course, all those topics kind of address both those things.
Okay, that's cool. That's great. So you used to work at Prezi.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So it sounds like your side hustle turned into your main hustle.
Yes, and expanded as well. Yep.
Okay,
exactly.
good.
Yeah.
So are you doing your side hustle now full time?
Yeah. So started the business officially last January, and it's been just the business. No corporate, no full time job in a corporation.
That's a nice feeling, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I didn't know if I would like it. I mean, I've been in corporate, again, my whole career, over 10 years, but I am really enjoying this. And obviously it has its own challenges and
absolutely
things that aren't, always sunshine and roses, but it's overall, I'm really enjoying it. Starting to see more momentum now that I'm a year and a half in, and just experimenting with new and exciting projects.
Well, good for you. I am a big proponent of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I used to be a serial entrepreneur, so I've owned quite a few companies, and crashed and burned about half of them, and had some successes. So a lot of the folks on, I've held some LinkedIn Lives about, job hunting. Uh-huh. And I always kind of approached it from my marketing kind of perspective. And one of the things that I always tell folks is go out and fire up an LLC. Just go start one. In Arizona, to file all your paperwork, it's like $50. It's not very expensive.
Yeah.
And so create an LLC, create a logo, create a little one-page website, create a LinkedIn company page. And now you have so much flexibility, because you can go out and hustle up some clients. You can show yourself as an employee of your LLC, which is what you're technically supposed to do anyway.
Right.
And because you own the company, you can give yourself any job title you want. Right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I remember I was like, I guess I'm a CEO now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you can call yourself the CEO, but if you're out there just trying to get a W-2 job, you can call yourself a Salesforce administrator.
Yeah.
Obviously you don't want to call yourself a brain surgeon if you know nothing about brain surgery.
Sure, yeah.
But anyway, it gives you a lot of flexibility.
Yeah. Great points.
So talk to me a little bit about Rise Learning Solutions. Now, this is your company, correct?
Yes, this is my company.
Okay. All right, so tell us about what Rise Learning Solutions is really jumping into.
Yeah, well, it's all those. It's essentially a holding company for all the things I mentioned earlier. But Rise, I came up with that name. It stands for, or it's because I want people who work with me to feel or to be able to become more recognized, influential, successful, and empowered. So that's where I came up with that acronym.
Nice.
And yeah, again, it's all the things I mentioned before. So the speaking and training, the consulting, some one-on-one coaching, and then the teaching. And then anything else that I come up with. So I do some brand deals, for example. I'm experimenting next month with launching a webinar for the first time directly to my audience, which I've never done before because I've only gone into companies. So if anyone in the audience is interested in that, I encourage you to sign up for my newsletter to get an update on when that's coming out. It's going to be all about building a LinkedIn presence. But it's a lot of different things that I do, and some are going to work out, some aren't. But so far, I'm really enjoying everything that I've been focusing on.
Nice. Yeah, I think a lot of folks who are very analytical thinkers, which makes them really good a lot of times in the technology space, but it's like their brain won't let them go outside this box, right? Mm-hmm. And I always encourage people to just throw stuff on the wall. Sure, plan, come up with ideas, watch lots of videos, see what other people are doing, but just do it. Throw stuff on the wall.
Yeah.
And already know that some of it's going to fail.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
It's like when you fall off the bike, you skin your knees, you put a Band-Aid on it, and you get back on the bike, right?
Yeah. I think that's one of the hardest parts about being an entrepreneur. Just that ability to do and just act. I know a lot of people who are thinking about doing it, but that's like often what holds them back is they just are not comfortable or they get overwhelmed with all the different options that you can do. But I mean, to your point, I think to be a great entrepreneur, you just have to start, just to do something, get data, analyze what's working, what's not working, and then keep iterating or move on to something else. But it's about taking that action.
Well, if you're in technology, taking an agile approach to starting your own business.
Yeah.
Right? Because agile is kind of like, get it rolling.
Yep.
We're going to screw up. We'll fix it every week. We'll go back and we'll do our retro and we'll check everything out. And you got to just do that. Some people feel like everything has to be perfect.
Exactly.
Everything has to be laid out, their website, all that stuff has to be done before they can start. And I say, just do it. Mm-hmm. Just do it.
Yeah.
And so with your own business and rolling that out, what have you found as far as barriers?
I think building up. So I'm very fortunate that I have a very strong network. Just my past jobs at LinkedIn and Prezi were very external facing roles that required me to interact and work with many thought leaders, business leaders. So I have a very strong network. And also I'm just someone who likes meeting people and will just, not be afraid to reach out to a stranger on LinkedIn, to say hi and to try to meet. I think one of the challenges with a new business is just getting a consistent client roster base. I mean, I think I've really, last month was my biggest month for speaking, which was super exciting. And I feel like there's more momentum now. But yeah, sometimes you have to let people, they might know who you are, but they don't necessarily know about all the different parts of your business. And so being able to just let people know what that is and to show them your credibility and your experience and all that. I think that's probably been something that I know takes time to build up, but something I'm like, I want it to be faster and faster. I have the, I know like what value I can offer. So that's probably the first thing that comes to mind. But again, really, really happy to start seeing even more momentum this year. And I'm, hoping it's just going to keep continuing as the business grows.
Oh, it will.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're super smart, and I can tell you. Well, obviously, you know how to communicate. That's what you're teaching, right?
Sure, yeah.
So how does that comport with being introverted? Explain that to me, because I'm just not understanding. Like, I mean, you seem pretty extroverted to me, but
yeah, that's what people say. I think introversion is a lot about energy management. So I will come on to your show and I can talk and, answer your questions. And then afterwards, I'll be like, okay, no more meetings right now. Let me just sit in silence and just do my solo work. So it's really, it's not that I, feel uncomfortable talking to groups or meeting people. It's just all about energy management and just knowing, like I mentioned, I had another talk, the fireside chat before this. This is enough talking for a few hours, and then I have some more meetings in the afternoon, but I just need to like space things out.
No, I get it. I'm pretty extroverted. I can talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime about anything.
That's great.
I can't even walk through the grocery store without connecting with somebody. I mean, it's almost like annoying. Yeah. It's annoying to my wife.
Is she more extroverted or introverted? Or like in between?
She's fairly extroverted, but she's like you. She has to have that space.
Sure.
But there's something about connecting with, pardon the term, old ladies at the grocery store. Uh-huh. Like if I see a couple of older ladies, in their 80s or even 90s, I don't know. I want to like, hey girls, you're looking good today.
Yeah.
Nice to see you. And they just, you stop it, that kind of thing. And that's just fun to me. I don't know. I can't explain it.
Yeah, I'm sure you're making their day, so that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I like making people's day. So talk to me a little bit about, let's get back to professional presence and how it relates to the job search process. Talk to me a little bit about that. I'm sure in job interviews, this is really where it comes in most handily, right?
Yeah, I think it's a huge part from even before the interview. When you have a solid LinkedIn profile. I mean, again, people are judging you before they get to meet you. And you have these virtual touch points or these virtual documents or things like that, where you need to make sure that they are representing you how you want to be seen. And you want to make sure that you are showing up in the right ways where recruiters are looking. So, of course, LinkedIn is a major platform for that. And I think I always love sharing this stat, the Lorraine group. It's for salespeople, but I think still applies to people not in sales. 82% of buyers will look up a seller on LinkedIn before replying to prospecting efforts. So essentially, when that person gets a message, a buyer gets a message, they're going to go on that person's LinkedIn and assess, who is this person? Are they credible? Like, what are they about? Before deciding if they want to respond to them. And I think we've all had those experiences where people will message us at like, Jerry, you message me. And I'm like, who's Jerry? I'm going to go on your profile and be like, is this person legit? Is this a spam message? Like, what's going on here? And so recruiters are doing that as well, right? And they're going to go to your LinkedIn first and be like, does this person look put together, or are they missing a profile photo and their experience is empty? This person, that's how they're going to see you. Just someone who's not put together, someone who doesn't think about how they're coming across, right? So I think from that point to like the resume and how you word things and show your impact and structure things, to the video interview, to the follow-up email, right? All of those touch points are impacted by your presence, and your presence plays a part in how you are being perceived.
That is 150%. I mean, so, there's the folks on LinkedIn who I call it rage posting. Well, rage is a little different category.
Yeah.
I don't know. Stressed out posting. I've been looking for a job for 5 months. I've pumped out 1,000 resumes and I'm just not getting anywhere. I'm not even getting a call. I can tell you that so far to date, 100% of those types of posts, I go to their profile, I go, yeah, you still have the original header that LinkedIn gives you when you start your account.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It seems so obvious to me. Mm-hmm. I have to be more empathetic and understanding that not all people get that. But it's like, look, I'm just going to give you one piece of advice. Do your research, connect with somebody, completely revamp and optimize your profile, and your life will change.
Yeah. I actually have this LinkedIn guide. It's 40 pages of just LinkedIn goodness of how to sort of build your presence. But I offer the first part free, and it's all about the profile. So if anyone wants to grab that, lorrainekaylee.com/LinkedIn-guide, and it will give you all the things you need to do to optimize your profile to make sure you are being seen in a positive light, and again, representing yourself in the way that you want to be represented.
Here, I'm going to post that.
LorraineKaylee.com/LinkedIn-guide.
LorraineKaylee. Dot what?
.com. Mm-hmm.
/
LinkedIn-guide.
LinkedIn-guide. All right. Tell me if I...
Perfect. Yep.
Did I get that right?
Perfect.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, they should look at that. In my own experience, so 6-7 months ago, even though, I'm at Sumo Lab, I wanted to see what was out there, and I wanted to go through this interview process because I just wanted to get better at interviewing.
Yeah, that's great.
And so I've had about 65, 70 interviews in the past 4 or 5 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like I tracked them all. And, when I say 70 interviews, I'm talking about first, second, third interview in the same job kind of thing.
Sure, still.
But just setting aside the time, prepping for an interview, going through the interview, walking away thinking, okay, I completely bombed that. And then, or walking away going, man, I killed that one. Mm-hmm. Like I'll be surprised if they don't call me back for a third interview or a fourth interview, right? But what I learned, I went through my LinkedIn profile. Mm-hmm. Because originally I was submitting resumes to job postings. Once I got my LinkedIn profile all keyword stuffed and I have projects in there, events, just tons of stuff. Yeah. I was getting between 5 and 10 recruiters every single day contacting me.
Wow. That's amazing.
To the point of annoyance. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, dude, stop calling me. Yeah. So when people say they can't get nobody to contact them, recruiters never contact them, I'm like, it's 100% your LinkedIn profile. That's the problem. Yeah. So, yeah, you get that thing going and you'll have them coming out of the ears.
Yeah, love that.
So cool. So then interview process, professional presence. What do you got to do?
So I think what I mentioned earlier about having a strong video presence, because I imagine, Jerry, most of your first round interviews were on video. Yeah, so most recruiters now prefer video interviews. And so making sure that you have a strong video presence, making sure that your framing is great, that you are know how to make eye contact, that you have the right lighting, that you have a curated background. And again, it only needs to be, wherever the 6 feet of space behind you, rest of your house can be as messy as you want it to be. Right. But yeah, making sure that you have all of that set up and just really optimize, and that you're doing things like using your hands on camera to better engage the other person. These are all really important things. It's not just about how well can you answer the question, but again, how are you showing up? If you were to go in person for an interview, you would shake their hand, you would be dressed professionally. So virtually, you also want to make sure you're showing up well too.
Your video's back now, I think. Your video had locked.
Yeah, yours too. And then it's frozen again, but I think I don't know why. I'm on Ethernet, so I don't know.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, so am I.
It could be odd. StreamYard, because I actually had a similar StreamYard issue with another LinkedIn Live at some point. So. Oh,
really?
Yeah. Hopefully it'll come back.
Yeah. All right. I'll just let it roll here.
Yeah.
Cool. That's actually really, really good advice. Interviews are just, it's like a love-hate thing, right? It's like going to the dentist. You got to do it, but it sucks, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's a skill, as you have kind of touched on, right? You had all those interviews because you wanted to practice the skill. So it is a skill, learnable.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, we're going to head down the home stretch here. And let's see. So let's talk about what are kind of your top 3 tips. First of all, everyone has a way to get to your website. So LorraineKaylee.com.
Yep.
And you can get lots of information about professional presence.
Yeah.
One of the things that my recruiters have always said, like after every interview, they said, man, you interview really well. And, still didn't get the job, but you interview really well. And, between radio and public speaking and just lots of different stuff,
Sure.
you just kind of learn, how to naturally pick that up. But if you just keep doing interviews, knowing you're going to bomb, just interview, pretty soon you start looking forward to them because you know that you're confident and you're prepared and you're ready to go, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Practice does make perfect. But also don't worry about being perfect. I know I say practice makes perfect, but think of these as conversations. You are just trying to get to know someone, and as much as they are assessing you, you also need to assess them and make sure it's the right fit for you.
Absolutely. I like the interviewers that are professional and good. Because they'll tell you that, hey, Jerry, how's it going? Hey, we're just going to chit chat.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Make you comfortable. Yeah.
I'm not going to grill you. And it's funny how many technical interviews I've had, like a ton, and they literally did not ask one technical question, which is like, all right, sure, cool. Yeah. They ask big picture questions, not like, hey, so if you were to create a new user in Salesforce, take me through the steps in the windows that you would open up. It's like, I have no idea. When I'm using the software, I can do it.
Sure.
I can't explain it to you.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Yeah, I've only had a couple of folks ask me that. And I literally said, yeah, I have no idea.
It's better to be honest than just making something up. That's not quite right. Yeah.
Exactly. So what are your top tips? What is Lorraine's top tips for professional presence, just kind of top to bottom, whether you're in an interview, you're speaking, whatever the case may be?
Yeah. So the first one, virtual presence, and more specifically video presence. So we just talked about that. Be intentional about it. I think a lot of people just neglect it for whatever reason. And maybe it feels more casual. You're at home, right? But being intentional about your video presence is really key. LinkedIn presence, right? Of course, I have to give a shout out to LinkedIn, my former employers. LinkedIn is so important in this day and age, and it's really been rewarding that, or just great to see that a lot more companies have been reaching out to me this year to talk about how to build a LinkedIn presence. So I always say the companies that support their companies, support their employees in learning how to build a LinkedIn presence are the most forward-thinking ones and really understand the value in having employee advocates and just employees who are out there who get invited to do podcasts and things like that, which is just free advertising for the company. And then the third thing I would say is more of a mindset piece. And that's just understanding and being intentional about your career, understanding that you're the CEO of your own career. If you're in corporate and you have the best manager in the world, and I've had so many of the best managers, you ultimately are going to be the person who's the best suited to advocate for yourself because you care the most about yourself, just like your managers and your peers all care the most about themselves. So just don't leave it to chance for anyone else. And so presence, and of course, the way you come across when asking for feedback, when presenting, when collaborating, like all those things that fall under presence is really what helps you, again, be seen in the best light, and then also help you have a case for yourself when it comes time to advocating.
Absolutely. I can say that if you're out there really beating the pavement and job hunting, having a LinkedIn presence will change your life. Mm-hmm. It really will, because you'll get to the point where you don't have to submit resumes. The recruiters will consistently come after you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And sure, if there's a specific company that you want to work for or a specific hiring manager that you know of that you want to work with, you got to go out and attack that like a pit bull.
Yeah. Yeah. And network. I feel like networking is a big piece of that as well.
Yes.
And just making sure, if there's a company you really love, asking someone like a personalized message, like, can you meet for 10, 15 minutes? Would love to just ask you a few questions. That can go a long way too. And then ideally that person can refer you. And of course, referrals are the best ways to get in front of the recruiters and to get a job.
Yes. And I would say one of the things that I learned was this concept of being intentional about the companies that you're applying for, as opposed to just sitting there on LinkedIn Jobs and just going, oh, that title fits me. Apply.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, you're virtually wasting your time.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I after my layoff, I actually created a LinkedIn learning course called Navigating Life After a Layoff. And I have a chapter talking about that and essentially warning people to avoid job application burnout, because you do want to be intentional. If you are just mass applying, I mean, it's not a good use of your time. It's not personalized, right? Like really sort of like applying to like colleges, apply for the ones that you really want and put your time into that and make sure that you are, again, meeting people from that company, networking, reaching out to the hiring manager, etc. You want your efforts to be focused.
Absolutely. Yes. And, otherwise you're going to end up being that person that's rage posting. I put out 1,000 resumes and I can't get no calls back. It's like, yes, because you're just spraying and praying, and you're probably doing more praying than anything else.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So any parting words you want to leave with everyone?
Oh, gosh. I think I hope that people after this session today are excited to tackle their professional presence. As we have talked about, there's so many different elements that go into it. All are very important, all sort of holistically and together make up your presence and how, again, your reputation, how people see you. So I'm excited for you all to get started. And I hope that anyone in the audience, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. Would love to stay in touch there. And as Jerry shared, I have a lot of free resources on my website. So if you go to lorrainecayley.com/free-resources, you can check those out there. And then if you're interested in watching my LinkedIn learning courses, lorrainecayley.com/LinkedIn learning. And then my newsletter as well. Free newsletter, weekly bite-sized tips to supercharge your career in 3 minutes or less. So I'm hoping I'll see you there as well.
Check you out. You just turned into a little marketing self-promoting machine.
That's what you got to say. Yeah.
That's what you got to do. You got to do it. Cool. Yeah. Well, thank you, Lorraine, so much. Don't go anywhere after the show. We'll chit-chat for a minute. And then, folks, I just want to thank you for coming spending some time with us on the Jerry Rig podcast, where we're talking about business, marketing, and, whether you're marketing your business or marketing yourself, it's all marketing, selling yourself and how cool you are. You want to be able to take that to a new job or start a new business. Doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you're going to make your life more fulfilling and have more fun and make a few extra bucks. Who knows? You can maybe go out for pizza once in a while. That'd be kind of nice, right? So anyway, thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us. Until next time, just, connect with me as well on LinkedIn if you would like to. You can, I'm working on my website right now. It's at sumolab.co. It's not complete yet. It's almost there, but it's looking pretty good. I use a lot of AI as well as created some cartoons and anyway, give me some comments. If you think it looks goofy, I want to know, because, I like honest feedback. So thanks a lot, you guys. Take care and enjoy your day and stay out of trouble, okay?
The Jerry Rigged Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or Google. Business technology for CEOs, managers, and business owners. We're here to deliver insights and strategies without the fluff. This is the Jerry Rigged Podcast.